All right, what's up, guys? Justin back here again. Today I'll be doing an oil change on my 2008 Gsxr 600, and this process pretty much works the same for the 1997 through 2011 Gsxr 600 through 1000. So I'll show you guys a few things, the tools you're gonna need for this job. I have my 4 quarts of oil. It's Valvoline 10W40. I'm not gonna need 4 quarts total, but I usually always just get 4, maybe 3 1/4. I have my Fram oil filter, pH 6018. I have this so I won't get oil everywhere. You're gonna need a socket to get off the oil plug. It's pretty big, but the size socket I'm using for mine is a, what is this, 11/16. And you may or may not need a oil filter wrench. Depends on how tight it is on there. All right, so just gonna get started. And also, what you want to get, an oil pan, so you won't get oil or all over the ground, something to drain the oil with. As you guys can see here, I have some paper towels, but maybe aluminum foil work just fine too, because when you take the oil filter off, oil is going to tend to run on your pipes, which can be easily cleaned off, but I just saved myself a little time by putting a piece of paper towel there. All right, as you guys can see here, here's the oil drain plug right here. I'm gonna start by removing that. And one thing about this thing, guys, when you're taking this off, make sure you don't drop this in the oil pan. Make sure you grab it, because a little oil is going to get on your hand. Just grab it and put it to the side. All right, here we go. Yeah, very slowly. This is going to come out. There we go. Yeah, that oil is pretty black. It was definitely time for an oil change. So what you want to do is let that drain out a couple minutes. All right, guys. Now that most of the oil has been removed from the engine, I think I waited a good 20 minutes. Now I'm going to put back on the oil drain plug. And I'm wearing gloves because oil just takes forever to get out of my fingernails, and I want to protect my hands. So I'm going to be putting the oil drain plug back in. Make sure you don't drop it inside the oil pan. And we're just going to wipe off some excess oil that's still maybe dripping from the bottom. Now that's on. You want to tighten this back up. And after we get this tight, next thing you want to do is just take off your oil filter. You want to make sure this is tight enough because you don't want any oil to be leaking at the bottom of your bike once you start riding. So just give it. And for exact torque, you can just refer to your manual because you don't want to have this too super tight and strip your boat. Okay. Now, as you guys can see here, there's your oil filter. So I'm gonna put my paper towel here so it doesn't drip over my pipes. And you just want to remove your oil filter. Like I said, you may or may not need your wrench for this. As you guys can see, the oil has started coming out. Just want to keep twisting this till it's always off. Alright, there we go. And let your oil filter drain. There will be some oil in there. Alright. And as you guys can see here, there's more oil that's draining from where the oil filter was at. You want to give that a minute and let that drain out. Alright. And once that's drained out, I'll come back with the next step. Alright guys, now that most of the oil has been drained from where the oil filter was at, I'll be grabbing my new oil filter. And what you want to do with your new oil filter before installing it, you want to fill about a quarter of the way full, and then you want to lubricate this outer rubber seal right here. That just ensures proper contact and that it goes on tight and smoothly. So I'm gonna take my oil here. And I'm just gonna fill this about a quarter of the way fill, just to get it wet and lubricated. Okay. Then you want to get a little oil and just put it on the outside of this rubber cement here. Just a dab is all it takes, really. And if you want, you can do this once it's on there. You can do this with your finger. You just want to get this rubber seal lubricated. Doesn't take a whole lot of oil, as you guys can see. And I have about a quarter of the way filled on the inside. Okay. Now, I do recommend you getting an oil filter wrench for this, because when you're putting this back on, once you get it hand tight with the oil filter wrench, you want to turn it about another quarter turn to just ensure it doesn't come off while you're riding. So go ahead and install my new oil filter. Move some of these wires out the way. Okay, now I'm gonna get it hand tight, as tight as I can get it with my hands first. Okay, now that I have it hand tight, take my oil filter wrench and I'm gonna tighten it down just about a quarter of a turn more, just to ensure it's on there good and tight and it doesn't come off. That's about one. About another quarter of a turn. Let's see. And this oil filter wrench is like, it was like a couple bucks at AutoZone. So I recommend you guys getting one. Okay. Now my oil filter is on there pretty tight. Alright. So next thing you want to do, make sure you have your original drain plug. Make sure it's tight. I'll give it a few more quarter turns before I put some new oil in here. And just trying to see where did I put my socket wrench at. Okay, here it is. I'm just gonna make sure this is on there tight. And after a few oil changes, I do recommend you guys changing out this plug. It only costs like $1 to replace. You don't have to do it every oil change, but you can. It doesn't hurt it. It'll just, it's less torquing down you have to do to get it back on there. Okay, well, that's pretty tight. Okay, now that I have my oil filter on tight and my oil drain plug, you can install your new oil. So I'm gonna come over here, grab my funnel and my 3 quarts of oil. I already opened up one. Okay, so that's 1, 2, and 3. Now you come around to the other side of the bike, and the reason my fairings are not fully detached because I have lights and wires, and it'll just be a hassle taking them all off, so I just detach them and put them to the side. So this is where your new oil goes, right here. Just want to, it's on there pretty tight. Just want to take that off. There we go. All right, you guys want to put that to the side. Grab your funnel. And then just installing your new oil. And I'm going to put 3 quarts in here, and then I'm going to check the oil level. Make sure I'm right where I need to be. All right. Trying to get most of it in there to get exactly 3 quarts. All right, I'm gonna open up my 2nd quart and just repeat. All right, that's 2 quarts, and I'll be adding my last quart of oil here. As you guys can see, the color of the oil is like a light gold. compared to the oil that came out, which was a very black, dark black. That's how you know your oil needs changing, when it's very dark. All right, now I have my 3 quarts of oil inside of my bike. I'm gonna put my plug back on here, and my level right here is indicating that it's full, because also my bike is on a stand. So I recommend you guys taking your bike off the stand to really see where your oil sits, and if it's below the halfway level, just add a little more. Okay.